Hello students, in this video we are going to start chapter 1 of class 9th economics, the story of village Palampur. Before starting the chapter, first let's see what is economics, because till now you people have never studied this subject as a individual. You have only done history, geography and civics. So let's see what is economics. It comes from two words, that is eco and nomos. Eco meaning home and nomos meaning accounts. That is, in simpler words, accounts of our home. Economics is a social science concerned with the production, distribution and consumption of goods and services which are produced in a country. In addition to this, in more simpler words, we can say economics deals with all the money thing. Okay students, so now let's start the chapter. The topics which we will cover in this video are the introduction of the chapter, organization of production and farming in village Palampur. Under farming in village Palampur, we will cover 7 more subtopics. So let's start. What story we are talking about here? We are talking about the story of an ideal village of India. The purpose of the story is to introduce some basic concepts relating to production, and this we do through a story of a hypothetical village called village Palampur. Now what is hypothetical? It is only in the books, that is, it is not in reality, but the condition of the village will be ideal or in relation to the actual villages of India. In Palampur, farming is the main activity. Other activities such as small scale manufacturing, dairy transport and many smaller activities are also carried on. In these production activities, various resources are combined to produce the desired goods and services. Palampur is well connected with neighboring villages and towns. This means that Palampur has a reasonable amount of transportation and road network. Palampur has about 450 families belonging to several castes. It means that there is upper caste also and lower caste also, as you see in India. Families of upper caste own the majority of land. It shows that the lower caste is having the least. Now, the most of the houses have electric connections also, which proves that a reasonable amount of electricity is also there in the villages. Because of this, tube wells can run. See, everyone knows that good farming requires tube wells. So, because of electricity, tube wells can run in village Palampur and so in other villages of India. In addition to this, Palampur is having schools also, though it is only up to primary and the secondary level. Colleges and a better higher schools are missing. Last but not the least one, a primary healthcare center is run by the government and there is a private dispensary also. So in other words, we can say that basic medical facilities are also available in village Palampur. So in this manner, we can see what are the conditions of an ideal village of India, or moreover, approximately what is the condition of Indian villages. Okay, let's come to our second topic, organization of production. As we studied in the story of village Palampur, various kind of production activities happen in the village. So let's see in totality what these activities include. The aim of production is to produce the goods and services that we want. Every production is organized by combining land, labor, physical capital and human capital, and all this combined is factors of production. Now let's see first, that is land. Land and other natural resources such as water, forest and mineral come under this category, and without these resources we cannot start the production. Second main thing is labor. Now some production activities require highly educated workers and other activities require workers who can do only manual work. So this is the second factor of production. Third factor of production is physical capital. Now physical capital is divided into two subparts. First is fixed capital, the variety of inputs required at every stage, that is tools, machines, buildings. But these examples or these inputs are not used up in production, or we can say they are not required every year. So these are fixed capital. Raw material and money in hand is called working capital because these two things are used up in production and they are required every year. Last but not the least one is human capital. One needs knowledge and enterprise to be able to put together land, labor and physical capital and produce an output, and this can be done only with the help of human capital. But this factor of production we will study in detail in the next chapter. In this chapter we are only further going to discuss about land, labor and physical capital. Let's talk about land, labor and physical capital. Now everyone knows land is fixed, or you can say it cannot be increased. 75% of the people are dependent on farming, especially in India. They could be farmers or farm laborers. But land area under cultivation is practically fixed. We cannot increase it. Even the wastelands in the villages have been converted to cultivable land. Now from where can we bring up more land? No, we cannot. So expansion cannot be done. There is no further scope of increase. So whatever land is available, we need to somehow adjust in that condition only. All land is cultivated in village Palampur. It means that no land is left out. Then how we will produce more? It shows that we need to improve the production procedure. Now what happens in our ideal villages? During rainy season, that is the Kharif time period, farmers grow generally jowar and bajra, and they are used mainly as cattle feed. Then Rabi season comes, that is the winter season where basically wheat is grown. Now potato as a short crop or a third crop is grown between October and December. In this manner, maximum utilization of land is done. Here, certain land is devoted to sugarcane harvesting also. Now, what is the reason that farmers are able to grow 3 different crops in an year? It is because of all the infrastructure we talked about in the story of village Palampur. And it is necessary also, because if land is fixed, we need to grow more and more on the same land. Now this is called as multiple cropping, when you grow more than one crop on the same piece of land. The other way out is modern farming method. That is, higher yields are possible from a combination of HYV seeds, irrigation, chemical fertilizer, pesticides, and other modern inputs. So, both through multiple cropping and modern farming methods, production can be increased from the same land, and this we need to do. Now, when we talk about modern farming methods, we are dealing with great amount of fertilizers, pesticides, and other chemicals. Now, scientific reports indicate that the modern farming methods have overused the natural resource base. We must take off the environment to ensure future development of agriculture. We are not saying that we should not use these inputs to grow more, but we are saying that these inputs should be used in a proper manner and in a sustainable way, so that land remains fertile for future generation also. In this topic, let's see how land is distributed between the farmers of our village. Not all the people engaged in agriculture have sufficient land. Many farmers are poor, or they do not have money to afford a good level of land. About 1/3 of the families are landless in our villages, and they work on the land of rich farmers. Small plot of land that is less than 2 hectares in size doesn't bring adequate income to a farmer. But on an average in our villages, farmers have 2 hectares of land. Only few rich farmers are having land bigger than 2 hectares. So you can understand and analyze the condition of farmers in our country. After land, labor is the next necessary factor of production. Farming requires a great deal of hard work. Farm laborers do not have a right over the crops grown on the land. They are only paid wages in return of the work they do. Small farmers, along with their families, cultivate their own small land. But in comparison to this, medium and large farmers hire small farm laborers. Farm laborers come from landless families. Wages are less in the villages, and even farm laborers are exploited. As farmers are following the modern farming methods, they require great deal of capital, and so farmer needs more money than before. Now let's see from where does that capital come from. The problem is with small farmers. They need to borrow money or arrange capital from big farmers, money lenders, or traders. But the problem is the rate of interest, which is charged very high from small farmers. And as they are illiterate, they are cheated. Medium and large farmers are better in condition as they have their own savings from farming. So they are able to arrange capital for the next cropping season. The suffering is of only the small farmers. We need to see how this capital comes to medium and large farmers. Now see, small farmers have less production, and because of that they don't have surplus amount of any type of grain or whatever produce they are producing, and that is why they don't have enough money or enough profit. But the case is different with medium and large farmers. A part of the earnings is saved and kept for buying capital for the next season. As medium and large farmers have big land area, they are able to produce more, and so they are able to sell more. With this selling of extra production, they gain profit, and this profit goes into their savings, and these savings are used up for the next cropping season. Now the benefit of the big farmers is this: because of these savings they can purchase more tractor, more inputs for their agriculture, and they can improve their agriculture year after year. Now again we end up with this, that small farmers are the ones who are suffering. They are 1/3 of the total farming population, and still they are the ones who are lacking behind because of basically money. Okay, now we have come to the end of the first part of the chapter. We have studied about village Palampur. We studied the factors of production, and the third topic was we elaborated on land, labor and capital. Now here on this slide, few questions are given for your practice. Please practice these questions and you will analyze the chapter through this. Thank you, and we will meet again in the second part of the chapter. Till then, bye bye.